So hello, today we're at St Andrew's Church in Abberton in Essex. Now Abberton is a village in Essex. It's 4 miles from Colchester and 1.8 miles from Peldon. Now the village is surrounded by Essex farmland and the Abberton Reservoir and wetlands. The elevation is 25 metres or 82 feet in old money. Today's population is around 448. Now Abberton lays within the ancient Roman road which we look at now, from Colchester to Mersey Island, so we can be sure that the Romans utilised the resources here from the 1st century.
No. No, 15, yeah, 15. 12 to 15, I can't remember.
You bought this off the what?
Post office.
For £1?
Yep.
How long have you had it? How long have you had it? How long has Abberton owned it?
Getting on to 20 years, I think.
Wow.
Because what they done, they took the telephones out.
So now it's a book swap.
Yeah. Yes. But I said there's a notice there.
So definitely a wet paint notice.
Definitely a wet paint notice, yeah.
Abberton and the Saxons. The very name Abberton means Eadburgh's estate, most likely a Saxon fane. Now by 1066 there were 3 landowners here, Seward and 2 freemen. I've got no idea what goes on here, but looks pretty serious. Abberton and the Normans. In the time of 1086 the Normans had squashed Saxon resistance, and the great Domesday Book had been written, including an entry on Abberton. It stated that the 3 manors were owned by Bishop Odo of Bayeux, half-brother of William the Conqueror himself, and Ralph of Marcy and Ranulph Peveril. Now, adding up all the villagers at that time, there were only 8 smallholders, and 3 plough teams and 1 slave. And it would have been fairly low key in Norman terms. Just look at this sign that's buried. In a wall of sunflowers. Driving around like I do, looking for the reservoir, etc., I've come across the reason for those signs earlier on. For there is actually a military firing range here, which has got a footpath which runs around the perimeter of it. Abberton's first rector. Now Abberton's first rector here was called Moses of 1150, so an ancient church must have stood here then. So, not for a lack of trying, information on Abberton has been thin on the ground. So we have jumped forward 786 years to 1936 to talk about Abberton's reservoir. So Essex being one of the driest parts of England, a reservoir was built here just before World War II. The local Layer Brook was dammed and water was then taken from the River Stour some 9 miles away. Now if you are into walking around, this place is paradise for that. There's walking routes all over the place. So if you're into bird watching, you can peep through this fence. It's like a little battlement as such, and keep an eye out for the birds. Looking at that lake, I almost expect the Lady of the Lake to raise Excalibur from King Arthur. And some of the birds you can expect to see here. Now the dam was built using London clay and gravel and capped it in concrete. It's almost 1 mile in length. Now several farms, including their buildings, were completely flooded, including Butler's farm. Which was run by the Thompson family from Scotland. Now their farm is now in the middle of the reservoir. Then we have Layer House, a farmhouse built in brick with 9 rooms and a brew house. The Layer House was owned by Daniel Green, and today it's situated beneath the front of the dam where we stand now. World War II and the Dam Busters. Now in 1940 a German Heinkel was shot down here by 2 Spitfires. Charlie Rees witnessed the Heinkel coming down and arrested the pilot, Alfred Kramer. Alfred protested saying, "Militaire, militaire," wanting a military arrest, but Charlie responded, "I'm good enough, bloody militaire for you." Now the burnt out Heinkel was later buried, and to this day it's never been found. The Dam Busters. I had no idea the famous Dam Busters practised here on Abberton's reservoir. Did you? In 1943, John Hopkins would watch the Lancaster bombers fly very low, shining searchlights on the water's surface and even dropping dummy bouncing bombs. Officially, Abberton received a full dress rehearsal on the 14th of May. On the 16th, the Ruhr Dam was breached in Germany. I highly recommend watching the 1955 film, The Dam Busters. So after you've parked your car, you can access this footpath, which which goes through private property. And you can see to our left, we can see the lovely lake, or the reservoir. And a further feast for your eyes. Splendid Essex church, look at that. So we have made our way to St Andrew's Church, which overlooks the Abberton Reservoir, and what a fine setting it is. Saint Andrew the Man. It's said that Andrew was born in 5 AD in Galilee and was the brother of St Peter the fisherman. For it was Jesus that called the brothers to be fishers of men. Andrew would go on to preach around the Black Sea coast as far as Kiev in Ukraine, and it's connected and also is connected to Cyprus, Malta, Romania, Ukraine, Georgia and Scotland. So why in Scotland? Well, a legendary account in 832 AD states the Scots were outnumbered by the Angles, and after prayer white clouds formed a cross shape in the sky. The same way St Andrew was crucified. And to this day Scotland's flag is a white cross on a blue background. It's fascinating. So St Andrew's Church is built from mixed rubble, septaria and brick with limestone dressings. So I'm just waiting for the sun to come out again. There we go. So starting with the West Tower, it's early 16th century, built in brick, and it's in 3 stages. Now if we look towards the last stage, we can see a diapering pattern occurs in black brick, which makes the cross of St Andrew, just about here, which was most fashionable during the Tudor period. And if you look, you can also make out the impressive stair turret. I'll be the first to admit that I'm not the sharpest tool in the toolbox, because when I came through this gate I was thinking, what are those crosses over there for? Of course it's St Andrew, isn't it? Okay, back to this lovely church. So now we're going to focus on the south porch, which was built in the 1800s. I also love this bench, which is just beside the porch. Isn't that great? And it's in memory of Katie Richardson, who was church warden here. So okay, I think it's about time we went into this church. I've got no information on this outer door, but you can see it's ancient. Okay, let's go inside. Get out of this wind. So starting with the actual south doorway, this is an ancient one at that. It's changed little in 700 years. Now we can see that the moulded jambs support a two-centred arch. And interesting, if you look either side, you'll see these headstops, which show a figure from the past with an incredible haircut from, say, 700 years ago. And also the right side. And if we look all the way around, we can see the inside of the old door. You can see it's been made to fit this opening. So okay, if I put my cap down, and we shall make our way in. So okay, now we stand in the nave itself. It was rebuilt in the 14th century and it measures 29 feet by 18 feet. Now if we move around to the south doorway, as you know I like to capture the view. And quite unique because it's got a view of the lake. Now the nave itself seats 50 persons. And I did read that the windows and doorways are the original position and have changed very little in the last 700 years. Just think of the folk that have been looking out of the same windows all of that time. Now moving around to the north doorway itself, at some point the northerly doorway was blocked up, but the position is original. Please don't forget to put something in the visitors book. Now we're going to go all the way around to the west end and look at this fantastic font. So this plain octagonal bowl font is 15th century and it rests on a stem and hollowed chamfered base. Now if we carefully remove this lid, we can see inside it's lead lined, but these indentations here are very interesting. For they show where the font was once locked, and there would have been a staple here, and they've been ripped out, probably in the English Reformation. Okay, making our way to the east end of the south wall of the nave, just in the corner here. So during a 2001 restoration, a large void was discovered here in the nave wall. It was blocked off in Tudor brick, and at a later date it may be opened. So notice how St Andrews has got no stained glass, which is very unusual. Apart from one small section I found in this window, which is right at the top. And I'd like to point out these two memorials just next to the window. For this memorial, it's a fascinating family, a memorial to Louisa, the wife of Major Edward Bawtry, who was a surgeon with the British Army who served in New Zealand against the Maoris in the 1850s and 60s. Now, Louisa died in Zante in Greece, a Greek island, in 1861. Also, if you look at the bottom, it mentions their son David, who was remembered for serving as a merchant and sailor and was shipwrecked in the China Sea in 1872. Now we're going to look at the pulpit. And this is in memory of John Hole. He was a priest who died in 1959. We shall have a look. So it looks like it's made in oak. I've taken my shoes off today, well, in here, because they were creaking. I had the boots on. I've got no information on the beams. They're quite impressive. Did notice this crucifix made out of nails. It's quite interesting. And you've got Mother Mary statue in the corner with the infant Jesus. Okay. Okay, we're now going to go all the way round and look at the chancel. So the chancel measures 19 feet by 15 feet and it was built in the 19th century. Its walls were uncovered in 2001 in the restoration, and traces of Victorian decorations were found and were overpainted in lime wash. So now we're looking at the arch itself. Okay, let's have a look inside. And again, we can see there's no stained glass window, especially in the east window here. And you will notice they've got really nice lamps in here. I guess from the old times. Now there's another memorial I'd like to mention, which is on the south wall of the chancel. And this caught my eye, it's quite unusual. It's a memorial to Sophie Baker Street. Now Sophie was the wife of Major General John Street. She was also the daughter of Reverend Holroyd of Colchester and would end the days in Ceylon in Sri Lanka. Now Sophie's husband was in fact the 25th General Officer commanding with the British Army in Ceylon, Sri Lanka. Now John Street's military career was most impressive. For in 1842 he served in China in the Opium Wars, and in 1854 he was sent to Crimea and fought in the Battle of Balaclava and Sebastopol. For John would in fact hold his military rank right up until his death in 1883. Can't say I've ever seen this before. It's a nice painting. It's quite unusual as well. For I guess that's Jesus' parents. I'm not sure. Character on the left. The bottom is at St Andrew presenting the church. It's this church, isn't it? See, the weather's been really, really kind today. Look at that lovely view. I like the way the light catches the ceiling, the paint. Okay, we're going to make our way towards the west end. We've got this lovely balcony as such. I don't know any history of the balcony as such. Here on the wall, a list of the rectors of the parish, starting 1150. Moses. And we've got Terry Edward Walker 2022. Right, let's go up this lovely balcony. So again, this is made in oak. If we go up here, we can see the organ. Look at that. Okay, it's lovely, isn't it? What a beautiful day. Look at this. Again, I've got no history on this at all, but I think it speaks for itself. We can see the view of the lake. If we look down here, we've got another fine painting of the church. If we look up, we can see it's most likely two bells. I'm not going to pull them obviously, but see they go through the floor. And it's likely that a lot of these old churches, from what I've read, had balconies like this, and the choir, etc., would have sang from here. Oh, there's something on the glass here. So what it says is on the 11th of November 1918, to commemorate those from our villages who made the ultimate sacrifice, Abberton and Langpo Parish Council, 2018. So I'd just like to mention that these two villages, as I understand it, have basically merged. So, okay, we shall make our way down. So please visit this church if you're passing through, and definitely I think one of the walks would be recommended around the reservoir as such. And we shall look at the organ. Again, I've got no information. If we look here, it's made by Watkins and Watson of London. It looks like it's all made in, this is all Bakelite as well. If you look down here, you've got the wooden pedals. It's great skill if you can play one of these. So under the stairs, we've got this banner. So you've got St Andrew, crossfish. I'm not going to tell you what that is, I've got no idea. But it's obviously the two villages again. Okay, we shall make our way outside of the church. Okay. Wow, beautiful, isn't it? Okay, we shall walk around the church. So I was just looking at the, not so much what the headstone says, but just the text on it. It's just really nice, the way they put it in the old times. Just for example, look at that G. So we can see that looks like there's been quite a lot of renovations carried out to the outside. And quite a recent chancel as well, as you can see. Did notice this crack. It seems that the more recent additions suffer more than the original building works. I don't know why. So you can see now we're on to the north side. And the same here as well, isn't it? And there's more of an old buttress there. It seems to have fared better. I'm just looking, looks like some of these bricks are Roman as well. So it's likely there would have been a villa somewhere around here, and you can see why. But remember, the lake is a recent addition. Now if we go onto the tower, okay, what I'll do, I'll just show you. I'll go past this old yew tree. There's a small gate here. So if you go through this gate, you can see there's a footpath goes off down there. I guess that goes around the lake. Look at that. That's stunning, isn't it? So although the weather has definitely turned now in mid-October, it's still good walking weather, and it always is really. Okie dokie. We shall now make our way outside. I just wanted to finish off by saying St Andrew's Church is open daily from what I can see, and it's carrying out baptisms, weddings and funerals, so please pop along, and thank you very much.